Good evening, good evening, good evening. Let me clean off my desk. Hold on. So it is Monday night. New week, new money, new goals. Let's go. So tonight, if you had some questions on business structure, LLC, contracts, whatever. Let me see if I can work my chat. Isn't there a chat button? I was trying to have people put bam. Okay. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them. I want to say there's a chat. Let me go see if I can look on live on my end. How would I? If y'all know how to put a question in the chat, then put a question in the chat. Okay, so I think it's like this little icon over here, but if you have questions, you can put them in there. So we are now in March. If we are an S Corp or if we are a multi-member LLC, our tax returns are going to be due on March 15th, unless you get an extension. So you want to make sure that you're getting all of your information to your CPA. I think everyone should have a tax deduction guide. So I have tax deduction guides. I just got those up on my website for all industries. So we're now starting, we're still in the first quarter of 2023. So we need to make sure that we are organizing our receipts, our invoices, our expenses. So when it is time to file our taxes, we're able to write off all our expenses and have documentation for them. Okay, so if you need a list of all of the tax deductions that your industry qualifies for, then you can get a tax deduction on my website. So if you're just joining on, if you are an S Corp or if you are a multi-member LLC, that means that you're filing a partnership tax return or a 1065. Your tax return is going to be due on March 15th, unless you file an extension. If you file an extension, then your return is not going to be due until September 15th, and then your personal return will be due on October 15th. Okay, so due dates for business are going to be March 15th, personal April 15th. If you do the extension, then it will be September 15th, and your personal being due on October 15th. Okay. Okay, how do I get a government contract ready? And then I started building my business credit, but I don't see my Dun & Bradstreet number moving. How can I add something on my BNS? Okay, if you are establishing business credit, you will first need to have the proper entity structure. Your business is going to have to be verifiable, meaning you got to have some digital footprints. You got to have a business address, a business phone number, a business email address. And you got to be listed on 411 and have a Google My Business page. Once you get your Dun & Bradstreet number, there's going to be 3 different tiers of vendors to start establishing your business credit. You got to start with tier 1. Complete tier 1 before you go to tier 2. So for tier 1, if you don't see your Dun & Bradstreet number increasing, you need to make more orders to vendors that report to Dun & Bradstreet. And remember, in business credit, on-time payments are they're just looked at as okay. On business credit, they really want to see early payments. So we should be making all of our payments 5 to 10 days early to really increase that business credit score and to kind of get that score higher faster. So business credit is really based on payment experiences, meaning how many payments are you making. So if you are purchasing things from a business credit vendor, be strategic. So if I want to buy $200 worth of stuff, let me break down that order into 2 100 orders. So I have I'll have 2 payment experiences versus just 1. Okay, so business credit, unlike personal credit, is that they're not worried about credit mix, credit age. They're looking for multiple payment experiences, and they're looking for early payments. So 5 to 10 days early. On-time payments in business credit is kind of like the bare minimum, okay? Let's see. An LLC, are you required to file if you haven't started generating any revenue? Yes. Okay, so Texas, your report is due May 15th. Florida, your report is due May 1st. 98% of the states require all LLCs to file an annual report. If your business didn't make any money, if you did nothing with your business, you still are required to file an LLC annual report. This is for the state to know, one, I'm still using this LLC name. That means that no one else, once you file your LLC and your LLC name, that means that no one else in your state can use that business name. So your state wants to know, are you still using this business name? If you're not, then they're going to make your LLC inactive and put that name back into that search menu as an available name. So regardless if you didn't make a dime, you just formed your LLC, you've done nothing with it, you still have to file your annual report with your state to make sure to keep your LLC active. If you don't, then your state will make it inactive. If you're inactive, you cannot apply for business credit. You cannot apply for business grants. You cannot open up bank accounts. I think every year, like around the first couple months of the year, a lot of banks or vendors will do an LLC good status check on their clients. So your bank may have contacted you like, hey, you're inactive, because you cannot have a bank account being an inactive LLC. So we're still in the first quarter. You want to make sure that you are filing your reports with whoever is the branch that handles your LLC report. So sometimes it'll be the Secretary of State. Sometimes it will be like the Department of Revenue. Sometimes it may be a different entity. So for Texas, it'll be the Texas Comptroller's Office. It's called the Texas Franchise Report. If you need me to file your Texas annual report, you can click on my website. I can do it for you. Or I also have an ebook that walks you through step by step on how to file your Texas annual report. But yes, you need to file your annual report. Some states have a fee. Some states don't have a fee. But like I said, once your LLC becomes inactive, business credit we can apply for, business grants we can apply for, banking, getting lines of credit, all those things we're not going to you will not be able to apply for. And then you're going to have to file the late report. So on top of filing the report, paying the regular fee, then your state will assess a late fee. Okay, so you don't want to get behind on that. Now, I think California is the most expensive state. California is $800 a year, right? Texas is free if you file it on time. But the normal fee will range between like $100 to $200 will be the fee on average for states that do file, that do have a annual fee for keeping up your LLC. You also want to make sure first quarter that you go over your articles of organization, or you're going over your certificate of formation, making sure that the addresses that you have on your LLC document are still good addresses. Okay, so sometimes if your business grew, you may have moved to a bigger location. You may have just moved to a different location. So you want to make sure that the registered agent's address is a good address for you to receive mail. Okay, you can be your own registered agent. Someone else can be an agent for you, but whoever it is, it needs to be a good address, because if the state's trying to contact you regarding something regarding your LLC, if you are being sued, this is the address where the lawsuit's coming to. If you aren't there to receive it, and after so many times of attempting service or process, they will then be able just to leave it at that address. If you never know that you've been served a lawsuit, then you're going to not respond in the appropriate amount of time, and then the other side can get something called a default judgment, meaning I win my case just because you didn't respond. Okay, so make sure that you are looking over your articles of organization, your certificate of formation, whichever one you have for your state, for your LLC, and making sure that the address for the registered agent is a current address for you. If you've moved, you need to update that address by doing an amendment. I have a webinar on my website that walks you through all this. If you need me to do it, I can do it, but make sure all of your contact information on your LLC documents are current for this year, okay? So first quarter recap, we need to make sure that we are filing our LLC annual reports, even if we haven't done any business. You want to make sure that we have all of our income and expenses to our accountant CPA for our taxes. Taxes are due for S-Corps and multi-member LLCs on March 15th. If you are not ready, which most businesses are not ready because you got to cut a check, right? So you can file an extension. You'll have your CPA, your accountant file an extension for you, and then your due date for your tax return won't be due until the business will be due on September 15th. Your personal will then be due on October 15th. Okay, so and then you want to make sure that you know all of the deductions that are available to you for this reason. You're going to make a lot of money in your business, right? And that's what you're supposed to be doing. And you are going to write a check to the IRS to pay your taxes, because that's what you're supposed to be doing when you have a business. However, you don't want to pay more than your fair share, okay? So we're not having, losses, year after year after year. We're not just writing off everything, because if you are a real business, eventually you are going to want to get some kind of financing, whether you're trying to get a loan to buy more inventory, whether you want to get some financing to buy some equipment. You are going to want to one day get some money for the business, okay? What they're going to look for is revenue and tax returns. So if you're writing off all these random expenses, showing a loss year after year after year after year, we are not going to be qualifying for loans, lines of credit, things of those kinds of things. So you want to make sure that you're paying your fair share, but we're not overpaying, okay? So like I said, it'll be a digital download. It's going to be tax deductions. It's going to have all the different, things that your industry needs to write off. So hey, what kind of receipts, what kind of invoices, what kind of things does my industry, qualify to deduct. So you have all those receipts nice and organized for your CPA accountant at the end of the year, and that you're able to give that information to him. Also, it's first quarter. We want to make sure that we have gotten all of our bank statements printed out for 2023 for our CPA accountant. And you want to make sure any money that you put into your business that was like your personal money to either self-fund the business or kind of carry the business over, that is documented on either a capital contribution agreement or an LLC loan agreement, because you don't want that money to be constituted as income and then you're paying a tax on that. So let's just say I'm in construction. I get paid on a net 30, meaning I don't get paid until 30 days once I complete the job. Well, that's when I get paid. My employee's going to get paid every 2 weeks. So I may, be, in a week or two where I'm waiting on a check from who I just, finished building out this house for, but I don't have any money in my account to make payroll. So I may have to go, to my personal account, deposit money into my business bank account to pay payroll. We don't want that money that we put in the account from our personal account to be classified as income, because that's not income. I just took money from one pot and put it here. Okay, so that's why you will use a capital contribution agreement or an LLC loan agreement. I have both of these contracts in my LLC kit on my website if you want that. Your CPA or accountant will know what to do with these two agreements. So we're not filing the agreements anywhere. You're going to keep them with all your information. At the end of the year, beginning of the year, you're going to then give them to your CPA along with your income and expenses, your profit and loss statement, okay? You'll use the capital contribution agreement if you're putting the money into the business and you don't need it back. So I'm $5,000 short on inventory. I'm going to go to my personal savings account, put it in the business account, and buy the inventory. I don't need that money back. I'm going to just keep it in the business. That money will then be put on a capital contribution agreement, meaning this is my contribution to the business. I don't need it back. An LLC loan agreement is like, hey, I'll put this $5,000 in. However, once the cash flow is back up in the business, I want this money back. Okay, so that $5,000, if I want the money back, then I'll put that on an LLC loan agreement. Either way, those two documents make sure that the money that you're self-funding, your personal money that you're putting into your LLC, is not being treated as income and you're paying a tax on that. So you want the money paid back, you'll put that on the LLC loan agreement. If you don't want the money paid back, it'll be a capital contribution agreement. Yes, you can backdate it. So if you haven't done this for 2022 and you haven't filed your taxes yet, yes, you can get these documents and you can kind of look either on your banking records or in your notes if you keep them as, what you actually put in the business that was your personal money that wasn't really income. And you can backdate it because, once again, this is just for your records to give to your CPA or your accountant so they know how to prepare your taxes, okay? Let me see any other questions. Let's see. What is the benefit of an LLP? An LLP is just a limited liability partnership. An LLP is just a partnership where one person has one person is going to have limited liability protection. My business structure call is going to be $99 for 30 minutes. Now, the LLC annual report is going to be due for all LLCs that were open in 2022. So if you just opened your LLC in 2023, you won't file your report until next year. So your LLC annual report kind of works like your income taxes, like you're filing it for the year before. So if you just filed your LLC this year, then no, you don't have to file the LLC report for 2023. You'll file it for next year. It's March. There are a lot of grants going on right now for March. If you're on my Instagram page, every day I'll be posting different grants for you to be applying for. Grants are not going to worry. They're not worried about if you have your home address on your LLC. They're not worried about if you have a Gmail account. So, we don't have to have our structure just perfect for business grants, but we do need to have a compelling statement of need, and we do need to make our business stand out. Okay. So we're not asking for, money to hold us over. We're not asking for money to, help us catch up on some bills. We're not asking for money to pay ourselves personally. You want to ask for money that's going to help you make money. So if I gave you this money today, what could you do with that to make some more money? Okay, so paying off debt is not making you any more money. Putting money in your pocket to pay your personal bills is not making the business make any more money. Okay, so you want to make sure, especially if you've applied for grants before and you haven't gotten any approvals, you may want to tweak your statement of need. Okay, so your statement of need is going to be why do you need this money? Who are you? Who is your business? Why do you need this money? And what are you going to do with this money? Okay, so you got to kind of put yourself in the grant writer's shoes, okay? I mean, in the grant reviewer's shoes. They're going to be seeing a lot of different grant proposals. You know, everyone's asking for money. I need this, I need that, I need this, I need that. The first thing you want to do is we need to paint our business in a positive light, okay? So what is so great about you? What is so great about your business? Or what is so great about what your business is doing? Okay, so if you are doing something that is like noteworthy, like maybe I am making wigs for, you know, women who are, you know, going through chemotherapy or, you know, dealing with cancer, okay? And I make wigs for them. Well, what I'm doing, you know, kind of, you know, is going to have a soft spot on someone's ear. If I am hiring someone in a disenfranchised group, so if I'm hiring maybe people that have GEDs, I'm open to hiring single moms. I'm open to hiring people that have a criminal history. I hire people that are disenfranchised, meaning people that are not normal, that don't really have a high population in the job market. Okay, then I want to showcase that. If what I'm selling is like something that's brand new, so if I am doing some kind of new treatment, or if whatever I'm doing is like noteworthy, then you want to focus on that. Whatever it is, you got to first make your business stand out. If we are an experienced entrepreneur, so you may have a new business, but you've been in business for 5, 10, 15 years. You can kind of show stability. Like what is it about you or your business that stands out from everyone else? That's what we want to lead with, okay? Because we don't want our business to sound like everyone else's. We got to make ourselves stand out, okay? So we got to put your thinking caps on. But the good thing is, with your statement of need, every grant's going to ask for the same type of question. So once you kind of hack out your statement of need, all you're really doing is copying and pasting the same thing on the different grant applications. When I say copying and pasting, I mean the grant applications are going to kind of ask the same questions. You're just kind of writing the same thing on the grant applications. Most of the applications in my grant bundle are going to be online, where you're filling out, like you're answering questions on that grant's application website. But you're kind of just, you're really just writing the same thing. The only thing we're going to tweak will be our budget. So you want to make your budget as close to the grant amount. So if it's a $10,000 grant, our budget shouldn't be $90,000. That's kind of way off. So if the grant's $10,000, give me a $10,000, $12,000 budget, something that's around the grant amount. On the flip side, let's not apply for a $100,000 grant and we're only asking for $10,000. It's kind of like, well, they're looking for someone who needs a larger amount of money to do whatever it is that they're trying to do. So you want to make your budget be similar to whatever is the grant amount. So that's the part that we're going to be tweaking. But the good thing about grants, that I always say, is it's not credit based. It's not based on how long you've been in business. It's not going to be based on your name, or, you know, what your revenue is. We're not having to provide any kind of financials. So they're not going to ask for a profit and loss statement. They're not going to ask for a tax return. They are looking to give money to a business where if I give you this money, you already have a plan as to what we're going to do with the money so that you can make more money. Because what they're wanting to do is have a story. And when you go apply, if you have the grant bundle, or if you just Google grants, any grant application, they're going to have somewhere on there a link or a section of their past winners. And you're going to see someone, you know, smiling, and they're going to have like a little, you know, synopsis, you know, Joyce Lashes won the grant last year and she did boom, 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 boom. They're looking for a story. Okay, so you got to sell them on, if I got this money and was able to get more inventory, I can make more sales. If I got this money and was able to have a larger a larger facility to hold all of my stuff, I could take bigger orders. If I got this money and had more staff to be able to, maybe handle more contracts, I can make more money. What does your business need to make more money? Not what does your business need to make you, the business owner, feel more comfortable. I would feel more comfortable if I had $10,000 just sitting in the bank, just to, just because in case something happened. That's not going to move them. I'm behind on rent. That's not going to move them. I haven't sold this inventory yet, so I need some more money for some. We don't want to paint the business as a failing business, okay? If you do have some gaps in, maybe we've opened, we've had to close, then we got to reopen. Well, what happened? I had a grant call the other day, and she actually had like a health condition. She had to shut her business down, and now she's rebranding. Well, no, let's not say that we're rebranding, because that sounds like we've been out of commission and we've come back. Now we're just going to say we took, a medical leave of absence, and, now we are back on it. You always want to, paint your business in the most positive light. Okay. So you want to make sure that we're asking for things, marketing, payroll for people other than you, inventory, equipment, maybe a remodel, staff, additional locations, things that are going to make you money. And you want to make sure that whatever you're asking for is going to be within whatever is that grant amount. So those would be kind of my little, tips and tricks for grants. But you want to make sure that you are, speaking great about you or your business. So, kind of think back, like what makes you stand out? What makes your business stand out? Everyone is unique. Okay, I have an existing LLC. Can I use that one for my Airbnb, or does it have to be two new LLCs? Let me get my cups. Hold on, my cups. Where are my cups? Now, we are all 7-figure business owners on this live, okay? So we got to do everything like we have the next Walmart, we got the next Netflix, we got the next Amazon. So we're going to do everything with the game plan as we are building this multi-million-dollar business, okay? So as we are making more money, there's going to be more problems that come, because, more money is more problems. So you have one LLC. I don't know what you're doing currently with that LLC. So we got the one LLC, and then you want to throw your Airbnb in with the same LLC. Can you do this? Yes, you can. Okay, you also can represent yourself in court on a murder charge. Would I recommend that? I would not. And this is why. Okay, so let's just say the purple pen represents Joy's Barbecue. Okay, so Joy's Barbecue, I have the hottest barbecue in town. There is a line wrapped around every day. I'm popping, okay? And I'm like, well, you know what? Besides doing Joy's Barbecue, I'm going to do Joy's Airbnb too. So I don't feel like paying the extra fee to get the LLC. I feel like going through all that. So I'm going to just do a DBA on my Joy's Barbecue LLC, and I'm going to do Joy's Airbnb. Well, Joy's Airbnb is a new business, and, a lot of times in a new business, it takes time, to kind of get the clientele going, kind of get the word out. So I just kind of combined the two, okay? Well, at my Airbnb, someone decides to have a party. They are crunk, and as they are just, twerking and having a jolly good time, someone slips and falls off the couch and breaks their neck. Well, who are they suing? Well, they're suing the entity that's doing business, which is going to be Joy's Barbecue, okay? Although you DBA Joy's Airbnb, a DBA is nothing. It's going back to the LLC. So, person falls and breaks their neck. They sue us. Of course, we gotta pay because they broke their neck in our property. So we only have $1 million insurance policy. They sued us for $1.5 million. So now Joy's Barbecue is on the hook for $500,000. Well, because I combined the Airbnb with Joy's Barbecue, they're now able to get everything in this LLC. So they're able to get the Airbnb money, which wasn't much because she's a brand new business, and they're able to get all of Joy's barbecue money. They can get any kind of asset Joy's Barbecue owns. If I own some equipment in that kitchen, they're gonna pull that equipment out that kitchen and sell it and take that money. If I own maybe a van and was like doing, like some mobile dropping off plates or sell, they're gonna take that van and sell it and put that money in their pocket. Okay, so whatever Joy's Barbecue owns, the Airbnb people about to get. Okay, so this is why I say we never do business we never do multiple businesses in the same LLC. So same scenario. I got Joy's Barbecue. She's slanging and banging. I got Joy's Airbnb. She's brand new, not much. Party, twerk fest, breakneck. I lose my lawsuit. They can only touch whatever Joy's Airbnb has. Okay, so if I only got $1,000 in the bank account, all they're going to get is $1,000, okay? And I'm going to be on the LLC will be on the hook for $499,000 or 490. I suck at math. The LLC will be on the hook for everything besides the $1,000 I had in the account, okay? And if that happens, we'll just dissolve this LLC and we'll form a new one and call it Hunt Airbnb and keep on moving, right? But the good thing is they didn't touch anything of Joy's Barbecue. Okay, so Joy's Barbecue, she's still slanging and banging. Payroll's being made. Rent at the barbecue is being paid. All my bills are being paid. I'm not suffering because of this lawsuit. But if you combine them, you're also combining that liability, which is why I say never run multiple LLCs or multiple businesses in one LLC. Like you are setting yourself up for failure. So you can either pay now or you can pay later. I always say if you pay later, you're going to pay more. Okay, so no, we do not want to run multiple businesses in this one LLC. Okay, what's my next question? What is the best company for a business address? You can use Regus, Regus. You can use Opus, Opus. You can use physicaladdress.com. Postal comes up as a P.O. box. No UPS, no post office. It's not a P.O. box. A business address or a virtual address is going to be like a commercial office space where when you walk in, there's going to be a receptionist. There's going to be like conference areas to rent. It's a real business office space that you're able to use just to have that address and to be able to, meet clients. So you want to make sure that you're not getting a P.O. box. It's an actual business address. Okay, let's see. How do you create a parent company that owns another LLC? If you're trying to do a parent with subsidiaries, I call that advanced asset protection, and you need to have that professionally set up. But I will draw you a picture. So your business structure, it can look one of two ways. So we can either have a parent LLC or a holding company own two LLCs, or we can just have the three LLCs separate. Okay, so here we have one LLC owning an LLC here and owning an LLC here, so it's three LLCs, or just three separate LLCs. Okay, you got 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. They really kind of do the same thing. Having the 3 separate ones will kind of be a little less complicated versus having a parent subsidiary. It's just a little bit, but it's kind of like whichever one floats your boat, you can do. the most important part of the business structure is going to be running the business correctly. So having a business bank account that reflects the real revenue of the business, having a business bank account and we're not swiping the card for personal expenses, having an operating agreement for each LLC, which is going to be the contract that governs that LLC, having an active LLC, meaning you filed your LLC report, having a business address, for your LLC. A lot of people get stuck in, I want the structure and I want to have a trust, and then the S corp is going to pay the holding company, and it's like, baby, like I just did a consultation today, and they wanted to form a trust that's going to that's going to own the holding company, and they have 4 inactive LLCs, and I'm like, hey, let's first learn how to run our LLC. We have 4 inactive LLCs. So we're not even really ready to even get to the trust because we don't even have, the basic business structure of running a business down correctly. So let's all of these all of these asset protection vehicles, they all work. Okay. Just like if you want a luxury car, there's BMW and then there's Mercedes. If you want to kind of step it up a notch, you can get a Bentley. You want to kind of big dog it, you can go ahead and get the Rolls Royce. But they're all luxury cars, okay? If you only have $1,000 for a car note, do you really need a Rolls Royce? Well, you can't really afford a Rolls Royce, with $1,000 car note. So, come on down to the Benz BMW for that $1,000. So if we're not even running, our current LLCs correct, if you don't have a lot of assets, okay, yes, you can form the trust, but you got to then fund the trust. And you got to put something in the trust. So do we have property that we own outright, no mortgage? Do you have vehicles or trucks that you own outright, meaning you have the title? Do you have a lot of cash that you just need to put somewhere to hide? If we don't have all of those things, then we don't need all of these advanced asset protection vehicles. Okay, so running your LLC correctly, not combining multiple DBAs or business under one LLC, not commingling funds, meaning you're swiping your business card for a haircut or nails, putting all the money in the bank, meaning, you're not getting Cash App and Zelle to your personal account for business bills, like running your LLC, keeping everything congruent, making sure that you have your operating agreement, which is going to be the contract for the LLC. You have that with your corporate documents. It's active. That is more important than trying to, form the trust that's going to be ran by the S corp. It's going to be just keep it simple, especially if that's not your forte. Like as a business owner, you need to be focusing on paying these bills, getting this marketing, getting these clients in the door, or getting your services out there. Okay. If you have a lot of assets, you should already be having a business attorney or a CPA who's already saying, hey, you got too much stuff. It's time for you to kind of do boom, boom, boom. Okay. So if no one's kind of tapping you on your shoulder, or if you don't have someone, then you should probably go have a consultation with a business attorney, or and let them know, hey, I have this. What do I need to do? Okay. So, but as far as parent company, you can have it like that for your 3 LLCs, or they can all be separate. The most important part is, I would say, is running them correctly and having them form correctly. Now, whether it's a parent, subsidiary, 3 different ones, that, is not that big of a deal. Okay, let's see. How do I get a registered agent? So you can be your own registered agent if you are forming your LLC in the state that you live in. Or you can hire a company to be your registered agent. You would just Google registered agent companies in your state, and then you would pick one of those. A big one will be Northwest or Northwestern registered agents. But just Google registered agents and then put your state name, and then the companies will pop up as to, what companies, have that service available. Okay. So we're going to Make sure that we're filing our LLC reports. We are organizing our expenses. So we are now in March. We should be, for January and February, we should be having either, if you're a tech person, you know, we should be scanning these receipts and storing them either in QuickBooks, some kind of accounting software. If we're a paper person, like if you're an OG like me, you should have some kind of file folders, you know, file folder system with the different categories of tax deductions. So like your marketing, your eating out, your gas, office supplies, having file folders, and every time you go out to eat, we're writing on the receipt, you know, who was there, what was discussed, putting it in that file folder. We're bringing all the invoices that we've paid, putting them in the different file folders for the different categories. If you want to know all of the tax deductions, I have maybe 26 different industries where it's going to be like a digital download, and I kind of break down all of the tax deductions, you know, for your industry. So I got small business, trucking, Uber, realtor. What else do I have? Realtors, security guards, gyms, fitness trainers, hairstylists, all the service providers, like everything. So you want to make sure that you know what expenses you can deduct so that you're paying your fair share of taxes. We're just not paying more than what is needed. And the tax deduction guide, I think it's like $39 on my website. It's an instant download. Save it. Kind of go through it. If you're a paper person like me, just make a file folder for each category of expense, and you can kind of just keep your receipts in there. If you are a guy and not organized, you need to have keep it like a little money bag in your glove department, or get like an envelope and just keep it in your glove department. So every time you are eating out, you're getting gas, you're out getting supplies, you just put those receipts right there in that envelope in your glove department. Then once a week, once a month, take it out, and then you can kind of put it, you can kind of put those invoices or receipts in the different file folders for the different categories. What you want to do is make your CPA or your accountant's life easy by this. So we're not going to walk in with no big bag of receipts. You think they're about to go through all those receipts? One, they're not about to go through all those receipts, okay? Two, the CPA, the accountant's not going through a bag of receipts. They're about to go hand that to the little person who's getting paid $10 an hour. Do you think the little person who's getting paid $10 an hour about to go and be detailed with every single receipt? I doubt it. We want to make things as clean and simple and easy, so when the person gets it, they're not just being overwhelmed. Okay, so if you just drop a big old box of receipts, baby, they're not going to go through them all. So that means that you're going to miss some of your tax deductions. You're going to be paying either a higher tax amount, or depending on what your income is, that may even bump you up into a higher tax bracket. Right, out of order. Now, if we come to our CPA with one nice clean bank statements, I always say have 4 bank accounts. You got your income account, so that is going to be a simple bank statement, not too many pages. It's only going to have your deposits in there, so they can go through all your bank statements for your income accounts and say, oh, well, gross, you brought in $100,000. Now they're going to go through your expense bank statement. This one's going to be looking like a little gangster, okay? It's going to have debits, it's going to have checks, it's going to have a lot. And depending on how much money you're making, a bank statement could be a good 20-something pages, okay? So they're going to have to go through line item by line item, marking off what all of these expenses are. Now, if you roll up in there with your file folders of all of your expenses for each category and you drop it off, it looks real nice. It makes everything just easy. I'm looking at the income bank statement. Here's all my income. I got the expenses. Here's all my expenses. I got my payroll bank account. So all the payroll is right here. My payroll taxes. Oh, here's my capital contribution. Okay, so it's $100,000 in income, but here's the capital contribution agreement. Oh, you put 20. If you want to make their life as easy as possible because they're the ones that are doing the calculations that are going to come back and tell you, hey, we need a check for blah, blah, blah. And you want that check amount to be as small as possible. So you want to make their life, like when they hit your file, you want them to be fired up. Oh, it's going to be an easy one. It's real organized. Bam. You don't want them to be scratching their head. Ooh, what's this? And having to call you, and now they agitate. When I'm dealing with my money, I need you to be, I want you like fresh, 9 a.m. And when you get to my file, everything's going to be nice and neat. And then you're going to tell me what that number is. And then I'm going to say, I want you to just go through it one more time and just make sure you didn't miss anything because, that number you gave me back, I'm not really agreeing with it. But you want to make their job easy. Number two, a good CPA, baby, is going to charge you every bit of $3.50, $4.50 an hour. Okay, so are you really about to pay $4.50 an hour for them to be going through, some receipts? So you want to make like this. Your CPA, your accountant, this is your money person, okay? So besides your employees so employees are number one. They are running the business. They are either, getting you more clients or running your clients away. They are the transmission of the business, okay? Baby, that CPA accountant, that is your money person. This is the person who's going to be doing your financial. So your profit and loss statement, your tax return, okay? CPA accountant. That's where we need to be. CPA accountant. No shade. We don't need to be at Keisha's, tax company. We need a person that has a college degree in accounting and either is an accountant or they went on and took that test to become a CPA. They're going to be billing you at between $3.50 and $4.50 an hour, on the low end $2.50 an hour. Okay, so this is your money person. This is the person who is going to see all what you're doing, all the income that's coming in, all the expenses that are coming out. This is the person who you should be meeting with at least twice a year, one during tax time, one on the off season, to let them know, hey, I'm kind of making a lot of money. What do I need to do coming next year? See, because as you're running your business, you're going to hit some kind of momentum. Whether you got an opportunity to expand to another location, you partnered with someone, or God just dropped the blessing, right? So now when you see yourself making more, hey, I'm making 40% more than I was making last year. Well, making more money, it sounds great, but there's a burden with making more money. It's called taxes. So what do I need to be doing with this money that's going to help me pay less in taxes? Okay, so that's when you would get into like depreciation. Like, should I be buying stuff now? Do I need to wait to buy some more equipment? So you need to be talking to your tax person on what's called tax planning. Hey, I made this year. I'm making more this year. What do I need to do with this money? How do I need to structure what I'm doing with this money and how I'm doing these expenses? Okay. So you want to make sure that their job, when they are doing your tax return and doing your financials, that it's not hectic. Everything is nice, clean, and organized. Okay. My referrals would be on Instagram, The Tax CEO. So TheTax CEO. She's out of Dallas, Texas. And then at Sassy Accountant. She's out in Orlando. They are going to be budget friendly. Okay, they will be budget friendly. They can work with businesses, but you still want to come, with your financial paperwork, correct. You don't want to have boxes and stuff unorganized and all of that stuff. Do bank statements count as receipts or just used in conjunction with the actual receipt? So the IRS is going to require certain things to have a receipt. For example, Sam's Club. Okay. If there's a debit for Sam's Club, is it Sam's Club for items for your office, or is it Sam's Club for items at your house? They don't know. Target. You bought something for your house, you bought something for the office. So on stores that can go both ways, the IRS is going to require a receipt. Okay, so a bank statement will not work. Office Depot, any kind of industry specific vendor, that will, the bank statement will work. I have been audited by the IRS, and if you get an agent from hell like I had, baby, they want the receipt. They want the receipt. So keep the receipt. Copy and scan the receipt, because the little paper receipts, not the 8x10 paper, like if you go out to a restaurant, that receipt, the ink evaporates in 4 or 5 years. So if I think they have 4 years to audit you. So if they audit you, you're always going to get an audit for back years. They're not going to audit you for that current year. And so when you pull up these file folders, you want to make sure, if you're old school like me, that you're copying the paper receipts on an 8x10 paper, or we're having some kind of scanning method on some kind of QuickBooks or some kind of accounting software. I'm not really a computer savvy person, so I don't do any of the scanning. I do paper receipts. But so no, bank statements do not always justify the expense. Restaurants eating out, to be tax deductible, you have to write on the back of the receipt who was there and what about business was discussed. So just having your bank statement and you went to State 48, maybe that could have been for your birthday party. No, you got to have the actual receipt with the person's name and what was discussed regarding business. So bank statements do not always qualify as receipts. Okay. I came in late. What are the 4 accounts needed? The 4 accounts needed are going to be your income account. That's going to be where all of your credit card deposits go. All of your cash will be deposited there. If you're doing Zelle, all that's going there. It's only going to be income. We don't need to have a check card or check to this account, because we're only having income coming in. Your next account will be your operating or your expense account. So we'll have a check card and checks, and we are buying and swiping the card for all of our expenses. You'll do a transfer from the income account to the expense account to get the money in the expense account, and then we're writing the checks or swiping the card to pay the bills. These accounts should be at the same bank to make it real simple. Your third account is going to be if you have employees. So if you have employees, independent contractors, this will be your payroll account. You're writing your checks on this account to your employees. You're having the payroll taxes taken out of this account. You want to do this also on a separate account, because I've had the IRS miss a comma before, right? So that instead of taking, $1,000, they may have taken $10,000 out. Yes, you can get the money back, but it may take 60 to 90 days. Can your business sustain missed cash flow of $10,000 for 90 days? Some businesses can't sustain that loss. So any check going to an employee, I've had employees, change numbers on checks. I've had employees make up fake checks, and on that check is going to have your bank account number. So I always have my payroll going in a separate account, and it's just payroll that goes in that account. So the account number that's going out to, your employees, independent contractors, some people and some people you don't really know. You're just giving them a check, or you may know the owner of the business, but their employee, is picking up the check. I mean, it's grimy out here in these business streets. Okay, so payroll checks may be altered. You don't want them going to PLS cashing $1,000 check. They forged it, made it $7,000, and then that money hit that income account. Now you can't pay any of your bills because PLS done cashed a fake check. Can you get the money back? Yes, you can. It's going to be a time delay. We don't need our rent being late. We don't need, any inventory not being able to be paid. We got to still run our business. And that fourth account is going to be your tax/savings account. So every month, we got to be putting some money over the side, because you are going to write a check to the IRS. Once you become a business owner, we are not getting refunds. Okay, that's why most businesses are going to file an extension and not do their taxes till September/October, because when you are running a business, we are writing a check. So on the month that we do like extra, we have extra cash flow. You want to put it aside for the taxes and then for our savings. So when your CPA hands you that bill, and you kind of go back and forth like, ooh, can you change that? Can you change that? Can you and he's like, I've written off everything. This is it. You at least have an account that you can go get some money from to help you pay that tax bill. Or some months, especially depending on the industry, some months are going to be cash flow heavy. Other months are going to be skim. So yeah, like in the summertime, if your business is a little slower in the summertime, well, I know I have this savings account over here that can help me cover payroll, help me cover rent, on those slow months. So income, operating or expenses, payroll, and tax/savings are the 4 accounts that you should have at the same bank. Okay, let's see what else we got. Okay, I just did the 4 accounts. Can you recommend a company that prints business checks? You can, you know what? Walmart has Walmart checks. If you go to Walmart.com, Walmart checks actually come pretty fast. Amazon has business checks. You can check Amazon. Your bank can order you business checks. They won't be as cute, but you can order business checks from your bank. But I normally get the fastest checks that come are going to be from Walmart. And then you can choose to get either like the regular size or the big notebook size. But Walmart has a really good check system. They have like different colors. But they come, to me, they come the fastest. What grants are available for app development or creation? Okay, so grants. There are going to be some grants that are going to be industry specific, but the majority of the grants are going to be for small businesses. Okay, so if you have a small business, then you can apply for that grant. So an app development or creation would constitute a small business. There's not going to be a grant for every single industry. Most grants are going to be just for small businesses. There will there's no like requirement as far as employee size or income size to get the grant. There will be an employee or income amount that you can't be over to be able to apply. So like you can't make more than $5 million in the year, and you can't have any more than 90 employees. So the restriction is not on how to get it. The restriction is on who can't apply for the grant. But you don't need to look for an industry specific grant. Just a small business grant covers, all small businesses. And then certain industries do have their own grants. So there's a lot of grants in the food truck, restaurant, catering. Veterans have like their own little section of grants. Woman-owned businesses, that means 51% of the business is owned by a woman. So if you're a husband or wife that own the business, then the wife should probably, be a 51% owner, and the husband can be 49. So that way you will qualify for, small business grants and women-owned grants. But, most businesses will fall underneath small business. So you keep all your receipts. What do you do after the 4 to 5 days after it? Okay, in 4 to 5 years, it will evaporate. So you'll copy them on a copy machine. So that you have a hard copy. So I'll copy my receipt on a paper, and then on that 8x10 paper, I staple the original onto the copy paper. Oh, my question box. I need to change the name for my LLC to lessen brand confusion and correct the fact that I wanted to run multiple businesses under one LLC. When is the best time to do so? You should change your structure as soon as possible so that you are running it correctly throughout the year. Yes, I will save this live. What form do I need to fill out to have me and my LLC looked at as a separate and not one in the same? April Showers, what do you mean? So when you form your LLC for business purposes is separate than you. For tax purposes, an LLC is going to be taxed as a sole proprietor, meaning the income and the expenses flow to you as the business owner, and you're going to file a Schedule C on your personal tax return. So if you're a single member LLC, your tax return is going to be due when your personal tax return is due. That's going to be April 15th. If you get the extension, that'd be October 15th. Now, if you want to be taxed as an S Corp, which you should be taxed as an S Corp when you hit about that $60,000 profit range, you will save on the self-employment taxes, but the LLC will now file its own separate tax return, which is due a month before the personal tax returns. And then you, as the LLC owner, will get something called a K-1, and you'll file your K-1 with your personal return. The K-1 is going to be like a 1099 form. It's going to give you whatever the income was for the LLC being taxed as an S Corp. Mind you, if you are choosing an S Corp election, then one of the owners has to be on payroll, meaning a payroll check issued every 2 weeks with payroll taxes, being taken out and sent to the IRS. So I kind of explain all of that and how to pay yourself in my Structure My Business Masterclass, which is on sale this month for my birthday. So if you want to know how to pay yourself, how you're taxed, all of that, then you should look at my Structure My Business Masterclass. Do I help with grant writing? I do not write grants. I will help you come up with your statement of need. So like, why do you need the money? How do you kind of showcase your business and make it look, as eye-catching as possible? So you would just book a grant call. It's just $99 for 30 minutes, and then I will help you come up with your statement of need. Where can I get an operating agreement? To get an operating agreement, you can actually go on my website on the legal template section, and I have an operating agreement for you. Are you able to help with getting registered as a minority business? I do not. I send people who are looking to get verified. What is her name? Something with a T. Tiffany Latoy. So on Instagram, it's going to be Tiffany, Tiffany, and then Latoy is going to be Latoi. I would write it in the comments, but whenever I hit them comments, my whole live freezes. So Tiffany Latoy, Tiffany, and then Latoi. She does all of the certifications. So like minority, women certifications, that's who I send referrals for people who are trying to get certified for governmental contracts. So as a Black business owner that's new, what grants are out there for me? Okay, it is grant season. Okay, so if you can get my grant bundle, you can Google grants, but February, March, April are really big, are the big grant months. So everyone needs to be either getting my bundle on Google, coming up with a statement of need, and applying for these grants. If you have multiple LLCs, like, well, I told you don't put everything in, one LLC. Both LLCs can apply for the same grant because it's two different businesses. Although you may own both of them, the LLC is a separate entity. So you can be applying for the same grant with multiple entities. You can be applying for multiple grants. So it's not like you can only apply for one grant a month. There is no limit to how many grants you can apply for. So I always say, take one Sunday out the month and just apply for all the grants that that you're looking to apply for. And every month, just take one day out the month, a couple hours, and then just apply for all the grants that are available for that month. In the grant bundle that I have, it's organized based on the due date and what the month is. So you'll see on each spreadsheet, like, okay, all of these are available for March. So I would just say take one day out of the month and apply for all the grants you want to apply for in that month. And then every month you are applying for a grant. If you get denied a grant, one thing I tell people to do is either write back or email them and ask for a reason. Not like, why you denying me? Like, hey, thank you for considering my application. I would like to improve on my grant writing. So is it possible for you to kind of tell me why my grant, wasn't chosen, or why my business wasn't chosen? So they will tell some grants will tell you, well, we didn't like your ask, or, they'll kind of give you a reason as to why you weren't chosen. So if you have been getting denials, I always say email them back so you can figure out, what it is that just didn't move them. So moving forward, how to change either your ask, change how you're wording it, change how you're, asking what you're needing, change your budget, so so we're not just, sending the same thing and getting, multiple denials. You'll know what to kind of tweak so you can go ahead and get an approval. Can a single member LLC become an S Corp? Okay, so a single member LLC, a multi-member LLC, and a C Corp can all choose to be taxed as an S Corp. You're going to file a form with the IRS. I think it's like 2553 or 23, something like that. Your CPA or accountant will know what form to file. You're going to just file a form with the IRS to be taxed as an S Corp. So now, instead of the business filing its return on your tax return, which is a 1040, the business will file its own return on something called an 1120S. And then you'll file your return. So if you are an S Corp, the S Corp business's tax return is going to be due a month before your personal return is due. So you're going to have to pay another fee, for the S Corp tax return. Depending on where you go and how big your business is, the average tax return for a business will run you between $550 and maybe $1,500, depending on how complicated the return is. So you'll have that fee, plus you will need to be on payroll with payroll taxes being taken out. Okay, so what all do you need to get a startup business grant? For a startup business grant, you really just need what you're doing or what you plan on doing. So on the startups, most of the business grants are going to require an LLC. On the startup business grants, they just really want an idea that you can bring to fruition like within the next 6 months. So you don't even have to have started anything. They're just saying, hey, if you have an idea and you can kind of come up with this idea in the next 6 months, tell us what your idea is and how much you need. Okay. Now, the startup grant, meaning our business is going to be pre-proof of, there's no proof of concept, meaning it's brand new. We're looking at a smaller amount. Okay. So we're looking at between maybe $2,500 and $5,000. So if you're a startup business, let's not talk about, I need $100,000. To get $100,000, you got to at least have an LLC, and be kind of in business, to kind of get that kind of money. So for startup grants, you don't have anything. You just got to have an idea of what you want to do that can kind of come into fruition in the next 6 months. Okay, how much is my grant bundle? The grant bundle is going to be $99, and you can either DM me grant, or you can get the link in my website. I've only been registered for 2 months. Can I still apply for grants? Yes, there is no requirement as far as how long you have to be in business to apply for grants. Remember, all the requirements are going to be to restrict bigger businesses from applying, not prohibiting smaller businesses from applying. Okay, how do I amend my LLC industry? Ooh. Okay, 4UD3. What do you mean amend LLC industry? If you wrote in your LLC a specific industry, then you would need to file an amendment with your Secretary of State. If you are trying to amend your industry because you're in a high risk industry, you need to form a brand new LLC, because whenever you amend something, you have to bring the original documents plus the amendment into wherever you're going. So if you're going to go apply for a bank loan, you got to bring your original LLC articles of organization plus the amendments. If I was Joyce Trucking and then I just changed to Joyce Enterprises, they're going to see that I used to be Joyce Trucking. So that won't fix that problem if that's what you're trying to do. But if you want to just change your industry, then you can just do an amendment with your Secretary of State. Okay. My EIN says SMLLC. What is the difference between an SMLLC and a regular LLC? I've never heard of a SMLLC. There's just one LLC. So maybe you're reading something wrong. I know on the EIN it'll have the person's name and it would say like sole member, meaning they're the only member of the LLC, but there is no SMLLC. I owe filing fees. I have at my LLC for 2 years. How do I get my business off the ground and pay for my fines? Okay, so Boss Alini, you would need to pay to get your legal structure is the most important thing. If not, you're doing business as yourself. So you can do business as yourself, and then if something happens, you're now risking your personal assets, which doesn't make sense. So you need to take some nails off, don't get no bundles, don't go to happy hour, stop door dashing or Uber eating. You need to just downsize your lifestyle for a month or two to pay these LLC fees to get your structure together. How soon to start your business bank account, and is there a minimum maximum to start? You should be getting your business bank account as soon as you get your LLC if you're going to be doing business. If you are just getting your LLC, but like, hey, I'm not doing anything yet, but I want to kind of just get it to to kind of reserve the name, just kind of have it there, but I'm not going to be doing business till 6 months from now, then you can wait until you're ready to do business, because there are most banks now are going to charge like monthly fees. How much you have to put in on average for a business bank account will be like $100 to start the account, but that depends on the bank. Where is a good idea to look for a grant writer, Instagram or Fiverr? In my grant bundle, I have a grant workbook that's going to help you come up with your statement of needs, going to give you questions to ask yourself, it's going to give you adjectives to use. My grant bundle is also going to come with the grant template, so you can kind of see how the grant's supposed to look. So as a business owner, I always say you should learn how to do it yourself. If you're going to say, well, I don't have time for that, and boom, 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 well, baby, you maybe should want to make time to go ahead and get some capital in for your business. You can have a grant writer write them, but the method I'm saying to do is to apply for multiple grants every single month. So that's going to be a lot of money every single month paying out if you're having a grant writer and you're applying for 5 to 10 grants a month. So I always say try to learn, try to, figure it out on your own, or you can look up Done Right, DONEWRITE, and the number 1. That's a grant writer referral I have. If you need one, you can DM me. I can send you their number. But I wouldn't go on Fiverr. Okay, let's see. Do I have one-on-one classes? I do one-on-one consultations. It's $150 an hour. Will these methods work for a nonprofit? As far as applying for the grant, nonprofit grants are going to be a little different. Okay, so nonprofit grants are going to be higher amounts, and a lot of the nonprofit grants you're going to have to actually write a real grant proposal. A lot of their applications are not going to be online, so it is going to be a little different for nonprofits. Okay, so I will save this live for everyone who just hopped on late. We are still in the first quarter. So reminder, we need to be getting our LLC annual reports in. We need to make sure that we are knowing what tax deductions our business qualifies for. So we're paying our fair share of taxes, not anything more. So you can go on my website and download one of my tax deduction guides. I have about 26 different industries, making sure that we're looking at our articles of organization or our certificate of formation, meaning our LLC documents. You want to make sure that your registered agent address is updated. If you've moved, it's an old address, whatever it is, that registered agent's address needs to be a good address where you are receiving mail. Okay. And we need to be applying for business grants. It is March. March has a lot of business grants for small businesses, for minority businesses, for women-owned businesses, for my Latinas. I mean, March and April are heavy grant months. So either get my grant bundle, Google grants, but you really want to start working on your statement of need, getting your budgets together. And like I'm saying, apply for multiple grants to increase your chance on getting some capital into your business. Okay, last couple of questions. I meant sole member. Correct. So if sole member means that you are the only member of the LLC. So it'll have your business name, and then it'll have your name, and then underneath your name, it'll be either sole member or member. So if it just says member, that means that there were multiple members on the LLC, meaning more than one owner of the LLC. If it says sole member, that means that you are the only member of the LLC at the time you applied for the EIN. Okay, best business banks. You need to find, it depends on you. If you are a big bank person, like I want to bank at a big bank, Bank of America, Chase, Capital One, they don't have too outlandish of fees. You are going to get more money at your smaller banks. So whoever is the local credit union in your bank, in your area. And I'm not saying Navy Federal, like y'all wearing that one out. Just, Boise, Idaho credit union. The smaller the bank, the more of a relationship you're going to have with the bankers, and smaller banks give small businesses more money. At the bigger banks, the Bank of America, the Chase, you're a dime a dozen, and they're focused on their bigger corporate clients. Like no matter how big you are, you're not Walmart, so it's like they're not really worried about you. So if you want to bank with the big bank, Bank of America, Chase, Capital One, if you're looking to bank and you're trying to establish a relationship to be able to then go and get some kind of funding, so a line of credit or a loan, whoever is your local credit union, small banks are going to give you a smaller business more money. Okay, business email, you would need to go to GoDaddy.com, buy your domain name, meaning like buy your website domain name, and then you'll be able to buy a branded email address. And branded email address is going to cost you about $2 to $3 a month, so you'll be paying like $36 for the year to have the branded email address. Your LLCs do not have to have separate addresses. You can have one corporate headquarters that houses all of your LLCs. So like more than one business can be at the same address. So I have a DUNS number as a sole proprietor. When I get my LLC, yes, when you get your LLC, you're going to get a new DUNS number. And you'll have to you'll get a new DUNS number. You need to get a new EIN number. And then you need to start building your business credit underneath the new entity or the new LLC. So, CPA referral, sassy accountant, or the tax CEO. Yes, you do need an EIN per business. So for your LLC, the proper structure will be LLC, EIN, business bank account. And you get your DUNS number at Dun & Bradstreet. So it's going to be D as in David, N as in Nancy, B as in boy.com. All right. I hope everyone has a great night. And I will see you at the bank.